We rely on schools to teach us many things, to provide us the basic knowledge to navigate life and the world. One teacher can make an everlasting impact on a child's life. Think back to your days in school. I will bet you had a good teacher. You still remember to this day. A child spends more time in class than at home. The time a child spends in school, which is the most developmental years, is the most valuable. There are many things that should be taught in school, but unfortunately not. Some would argue that these things should be taught at home. And I agree, but they usually are not taught there either. Getting these concepts in the schools is the only way we can ensure that all students are getting this information. Especially kids who come from broken homes or homes where the parents are too busy to teach their kids and therefore rely on the school system for everything. In this video, I want to share my thoughts on 7 topics which schools never teaches you. Number 1. How to handle bullies. In school, we often encounter bullies for the first time. And unfortunately, in many places, this situation is not handled correctly. As children, we might be left to face our bullies time and time again, and punished if we respond. The most common piece of advice is to just ignore it, but that doesn't always work. We might learn to bear it, but not how to handle it effectively. You will find that bullying doesn't stop once we leave school. We might encounter bullies in social settings, at work, in college, and in more places. It is important to learn how to handle them with grace, setting boundaries, withdrawing, and most importantly, working on ourselves. When we better ourselves and improve our own insecurities, we can give bullies less ammunition and make them less likely to target us. Working to develop genuine confidence can be a good way to guard against bullies, among the many other benefits it will have for us. Number 2. How to deal with failure. Schools punish failure. They teach us to avoid it at all costs, and often don't help us to recognize how important mistakes are for our overall progress. We learn to avoid or hide our failures, but not how to cope with them. In life, we might need to accept failure as a valid option and focus on the lessons it can bring. What would we do differently next time? What is the most important thing we can take away from this situation? Permitting ourselves to fail as frequently as we need is important. Don't forget the famous quote: failure is the stepping stone to success. Number 3. Finances. Schools don't usually teach how to manage finance and related topics. However, finances are incredibly important. We need to know what to do and what to avoid, how to save money and how to invest it. Learning empowers us to make better financial decisions, avoid going deep into debt, solve our crisis, and much more. What should we learn for financial management? We can start with the basics. Keeping and managing a budget can help us understand our income and the way we spend. Having a monthly budget allows us to prevent impulsive purchases and use only the money we have. Saving is also useful, and we need to find ways to incorporate it into our lives. Saving can shield us against unexpected situations and expenses, as well as give us a cushion if we want to try out something new or get out of a situation quickly. Number 4. Setting goals and time management. Schools set goals for their students, and this might leave some people feeling lost after they leave schools. We need to learn how to find our own goals, something that helps a lot in developing our autonomy. Time management is another skill that schools often fail to teach us. Indeed, we often learn bad habits like doing our homework the day before it's due. We need to know how to set deadlines and meet them, how to make the most of our time, and all these skills that allow us to use our time in the most productive way possible. Number 5. Practical knowledge and day-to-day skills. Achieving self-sufficiency is important, and a big part of this is being able to handle day-to-day activities, whether it is cooking, cleaning, fixing a toilet, or anything else. We might not have learned this at school, but we still have a responsibility to understand it. Not only can it save us money, but it can also help us feel more in control, better equipped to handle critical situations. Number 6. mental health matters. Another thing that is rarely taught in schools is that our mental health. Our mental health is essential and that we should take care of it. In general, we are expected to sacrifice our mental health for the sake of good grades. However, that is not sustainable. We need to learn how to practice self-care, manage our sleep schedule, take breaks, support ourselves, and so on. Developing and cultivating specific practices like self-compassion, gratitude, self-sacrifice, and much more can be a good way of improving our mental health. And they can be practiced through simple daily exercises like journaling and or helping others, and I personally suggest you to meditate. Number 7. Socializing and networking. A school can give us the theoretical knowledge we need to grow professionally, but it doesn't always provide practical support we need. We need to understand how to build networks, how to influence people, how to communicate, how to tell our boss that something is not going right. These skills are also important for our career, so we need to learn them as well. These are the 7 things which school never teaches you, and all these are my personal thoughts. See you in the next video.